2019 Mercedes-AMG C63 car review. The list watches like something a technophile would stash under their mattress and has a larger standard infotainment screen, an available gigantic digital instrument cluster, 9-stage traction control software, new AMG Dynamics chassis programs, one new driving mode, touch capacitive knobs within the steering wheel spokes, and little control nodules around the steering wheel that contain their own miniature screens. It's rarely that extra displays or lines of code create a car more desirable to drive, especially one while using raw emotional. Good thing about this deroidal and brutish C63. Sigh, right? The good points of 2019 Mercedes-AMG C63. Top-shelf interior, S model's 9-step AMG traction control is defined as magic, sounds and hits as being a sledgehammer. The bad points of 2019 Mercedes-AMG C63. Not inexpensive, still rides as being a sledgehammer, particularly in firmer chassis modes. It ends up the new model is superior to ever. New stuff and stuff. In addition, for the tech, which we'll detail further in just a minute, these U.S.-bound C63 models, there's fashionable rad wagon that's not sold here. Get AMG's retro handsome Panamericana grille, updated fasces, new exhaust finishers, and restyled LED lights. The car still squats with fat flares over fat rubber. Watchy to get waste to some favorite part of tarmac. However, the refreshed exterior, as well as the grille in particular, imparts greater visual sophistication. Inside, the newest displays feature the carmaker's typical clean, uncluttered, and higher graphic execution, and they also bring a statty off-heart feel that's welcomed instead of overwhelming. You want the screens to adopt full. Good thing about the plethora of chassis modes, settings, and features anyway. And new rain and snow optimized slippery driving mode joins comfort, sport, sport plus, individual, and race S model only within the roster of the way to alter the accelerator response, steering weight, adaptive damper firmness, transmission shift behavior, exhaust sound, and stability control settings all at one time. You can now activate these using a knob for the lower right portion of the tire, while a whole new pair of programmable toggles about the lower left may be used to fiddle with stuff like the average person exhaust, adaptive dampers, stability control, and transmission settings. The knob and toggle buttons have LCD screens to show off the current setting or function. The center console controls for these particular modes remain, but the modern switches were added, Mercedes says, make it possible for easier number of options around the fly during aggressive driving. AMG Dynamics is completely new this year. It's a part of software tied towards the driving modes that utilizes steering, speed, and yaw sensors to predict what the car is probably going to do, then helps the trucker by working the soundness control and brake-based torque vectoring. Mercedes says AMG Dynamics helps make the C63 more stable in slippery and comfort modes, friskier in sport, friskier still in sport plus, and other agile, which has a slight tendency toward oversteer in race. We stumbled on think of AMG Dynamics to be a sort of multi-stage version of Mazda's vectoring control, plus the car genuinely does feel slightly nimbler, steadier, and much more eager to turn in. Also, you have to know that the AMG Dynamics modes are basic, advanced, pro, and master, understanding that Mercedes promises even experienced drivers receive optimum assistance without getting patronized because of the system. We didn't feel patronized, which means it was probably working. AMG traction control, basically magic. The single best new thing, however, will be the 9-step AMG traction control. The C63 would be the second AMG to have the technology after it made its debut about the GTR supercar a couple of years ago. Its existence isn't obvious, but activating it is simple. Simply switch off the soundness control using the center console button or even the steering wheel toggle, at which the chassis mode knob screen changes to produce your setting number along with a segmented green, yellow, and red dial. In a nutshell, the device controls the amount of torque is sent for the rear tires so as to deliver optimum grip, and to avoid time-sapping wheel spin or oversteer, when getting back for the throttle in the given corner. We found the computer to be successful in the GTR we ran at Lightning Lap 2017, where that car came near setting a different overall record, and our regard remains high after driving C63 coupes and sedans in the wicked and challenging Bilsterberg track in Bad Driburg, Germany. It's a sensible tool for learning the automobile, your own personal limits, and a unique racetrack inside a metered way. Having a safety net that may be progressively scaled back makes particular sense inside a model that may serve as an entryway into AMG's wild and woolly lineup. It makes any fool feel such as a hero when they exploit and slide the C63. The vehicle is easy to relocate and gather up as its, but any tail-out action the machine determines as going much is handled quickly and imperceptibly. In short, you would like AMG traction control. Which means you would also like the C63S model, since it's standard there but not available within the basic C63. Our only gripes are that 1, it's somewhat counterintuitive that intervention is dialed down because you move up over the numbers, and a couple of we don't have AMG traction control on everything we drive. Also cool, the revolutionary track pace selection for the main screen that displays racetrack maps and records lap and sector times. Furthermore, it can use the head-up display to indicate helpful items including upcoming corners, braking points, and cornering speed references. Several famous circuits are preloaded, even so the system may also use GPS to master new ones. AMG makes it about as elementary as possible to obtain up to pace for the track. The rest in the thing. Retuned adaptive dampers give you a wider choice of adjustment over the driving modes. That said, while comfort mode did feel a wee bit suppler, ride quality still falls for the granitic side. You're about to want to elect that road repair millage, or have a punch card out of your back specialist, before handing a check over for the dealer. That check might be a bit more than last year's, with all the sedan and coupe starting inside mid to high $60,000s plus the cabriolet at roughly $75,000. Add $7,000 approximately for the stronger S versions, that contain not only the exclusive race mode and AMG traction control but many in the base model's options as standard. The engine is just about the few major components that didn't purchase an overhaul. Good. The C63 packs a twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 and 469 horsepower base and 503 horsepower S model strengths, and it's a potent, sweet-spinning thing that hits such as a sledgehammer. The power delivery is immediate and mighty, and stomps for the gas pedal send the automobile hurtling forward like Mjolnir making its long ago to Thor's hand. And the sound is really as intoxicating as ever, at least on this turbocharged generation, all thunder and fury inside the exhaust's most aggressive setting. As before, the V8's fusillade is sent towards the rear wheels using a Mercedes speed shift automatic transmission. That means there's a multiplate clutch utilized in place of a torque converter, so that it is more attentive to acceleration requests, but it really now has 9 forward ratios rather than previous 7. The additional ratios don't make a difference in driving, but the newest box now can skip more ratios in one go as opposed to shuffling among gears. It's also believed to shift even more quickly. The 7-speed shifted plenty quick before, and the revolutionary 9-speed shifts plenty quick now. For all of its might and muscle and added agility, and provided you might have smooth roads, the C63 remains to be a good long-distance hauler. It's incredibly stable at triply-digit autobahn speeds. The optional performance seats, which now offer ventilation, are supportive and comfy, and also the cockpit is luxurious enough you could forget you're in this particular potent and complex machine. We were big fans with the outgoing version, but the newest driver-focused tech helps make the C63 and C63S more approachable, sometimes more capable. We're happy Mercedes and AMG didn't leave good enough alone.